Yeah.
So they'll free range them, and the mamas will have the baby and hide them. And then when the guys are out there looking for the mama and the baby,
Right.
they'll walk the other way from where the baby is to draw them away from the baby to protect the baby, which is just wild. So you got to get your drone up there, man. But they don't let the mamas walk around in free range that much when it's time.
Okay. They should teach the cows to use paintballs.
Yeah.
Be very. If they're good at hiding the if they're good at hiding the calves, they set up ambushes with the paintball. You know.
Arizona is a wildly beautiful place, brimming with over 100 brewing companies.
I'm Rob Fulmer, the Director of Government and Community Affairs for the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. I'm joined by Executive Director Andrew Baum.
Together we cover the state, bringing you the best of what's happening at our breweries and beyond. Welcome to Arizona Beer Frontier.
Careful.
So I'm struggling with how I'm going to prepare my Thanksgiving turkey because I've done a lot of different methods.
Mm-hmm.
I've done the stuff it, not stuff it, spatchcock it, debone it, part it out, make it into a giant roulade.
How many people?
I've done it sous vide. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 people. I ordered a bird from. I said it was from. I thought it was from Chino Valley, but it's actually from Willcox. But I'm picking that up tomorrow. So I kind of kicked the can down the road because my wife was asking me, "How are you going to do this?" And you know, she wants the Norman Rockwell carved the bird. And I'm like, it's not really the best way.
I mean, that's gross, but we could do that.
No, it just you know, like it takes too long, and you end up burning half of it, and the dark meat doesn't cook as the same as the white meat, and you know, I've actually cooked it upside down. And that was an argument. Cook it upside down. Because the dark meat would be on top, and it needs more heat, more direct heat, and it doesn't matter if you burn the shit.
Have you ever sous vide it?
I've sous vide it. Yes, I parted it out, sous vide it. That was the last time I kept the bones on. Most of the bones. I tried to flatten it out as much as possible with the bones, so it had the look of a regular turkey. I mean, I didn't assemble it and glue it with stuffing. That would actually kind of be funny. Look, a Frankenstein turkey. So I don't know. So I use these because I got to kind of see the bird first. I got to see what it, because you order it and you give them a range of poundage that you'll pay for.
Right.
So I don't know. But I have arrived at this over the long period of time. Brining it in beer is just cosmetic or just to feel good about using beer. I don't think wet brines, I think no longer have any scientific favor over dry brining. If you're going to brine, brining is important. But
well, I mean, if you have a salt solution to brine in, yeah. Like, do you add salt to your beer that you brine it in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you treat it as a. This was the homebrew chef's recipe from 2 decades ago, right?
Yeah.
You just replace all the water with beer or a portion of it, and you use ice, but because I'm able to do it a day ahead of time, I can drop the temperature of it without ruining my day, right? Because to have that much 5 gallons of liquid, as you know, as a home brewer, without using a counterflow pressure chiller, or
right.
I mean, not pressure, but you just got to wait it out on the broth to get the salt to get it down, and you're not in any danger of spoilage or anything like that with as much salt as you put in there. But but you just have to wait it out. So my point is, you can get just as juicy a bird without a wet brine. You can use a dry brine, so there's no beer in that. Beer is good for like finishing, you know, like for reducing the temperature of a cooked food and adding some beer flavor, but baking or cooking it's negligible. It's one of many things you can use.
What if you're braising?
You might have an argument there. It depends on the beer, I suppose. You would probably want something a little bit more caramelly.
Yeah, maybe a light porter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to braise the turkey. But yeah, in general, yeah, maybe braising.
Well, I am doing a bone-in turkey breast. I'm not doing a whole turkey because we're going up north.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. We have limited kitchen equipment to work with.
Yeah.
Just the basics.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to bring up a Dutch oven, and I'm going to roast it.
Yeah. See, if it's flatter, I'm assuming then you don't have the problems. The whole bird problem is the dimensions of
an empty cavity in the middle.
Yeah. So I stuff pumpkins instead with stuffing.
Oh, that's nice. And then you roast those?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Put them on the barbecue grill, an indirect heat, just turn one side on, push everything to the one other side.
Cool.
Yeah. And so you can just kind of put it on low and forget about it once you get everything going.
I wonder if we have a grill.
That's a good question.
I don't know. Thanks.
Yeah. No, I mean, we don't even have one up in Flagstaff, which I'm not sure why we don't. But
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. It just would collect snow.
Yeah.
I don't think we...
Are they going to get snow this year?
I think so. I mean, they already had a little bit, but... Excuse me. Oh. Wow. Sorry. Dissipate. Wow. Yeah, so, but I was, this came up again because for some reason I started looking into Christmas pudding. You know, the figgy pudding, which contains probably never, it doesn't have to have figs in it.
Right.
It has raisins. Currants are raisins.
Ooh.
Sultanas are raisins. Raisins are raisins. You could put cranberries in them.
Okay.
But there is beer in, the recipes normally, you add rum to it and then you finish it with rum and you set it on fire. But if you don't have, if you're a poor Victorian, you just go down and get some barley wine or stout at the pub.
But it doesn't fire up.
No,
like
but
that.
but see again,
tastes great.
In reading folks like Boak and Bailey and shut up about Barclay Perkins, I think they're just using it just because they're beer people and why not, right? Because the Boak and Bailey folks, it is like it really. They've used lager. They've used. You can't really taste it in the mix of all
I agree.
all the stuff.
I mean, I've brined my own turkey in beer in the past, and
I was fascinated by the ritual of Christmas pudding because you were supposed to make it Sunday. They call it stir up Sunday. It goes back to the 1500s or something, 1600s. They talk about making Christmas pudding or something for Christmas. You make it. And this stuff is supposed to last forever. There are people who make it in February or January for the year, and they just let it sit.
How does that work?
So the weird thing, so it's basically just a bunch of dried fruits and eggs and sugar, and you put it in a mold and you boil and steam around it. You steam it, and you're supposed to just wrap it up and keep it in a cool, dry area, and it dries out. So you have to boil it. You have to
take it
steam
back
it
again
for like 2 or 3 hours to get it back to normal.
Huh. I'm gonna go with I've never had that, and I'm not planning on it. But
no, I'm gonna do
like
it as
a fun.
It just sounds
project.
like a fun, a thing. Like
I love fun projects.
Yeah, so you can make it the day of, and I guess it's not the same. I don't know. Like I don't know. It's
not.
Yeah. So it gets darker. It gets darker as it ages.
Yeah.
So the fascinating thing about aging bread,
Sugar oxidizes, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So I don't know. We'll see if I get to that this year.
Wow. Yeah, that's ambitious. I don't know, man. Time seems to be just like not on my side for anything these days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have to do it. It's not for Thanksgiving. I could do it anytime.
Sure.
In between, but
until Christmas.
But it's like it's the ritual of it, right? And this kind of came up in my trip to Sierra Nevada.
Right. Oh, hey, Rob.
Andrew Bauman.
Let's talk about your trip to Sierra Nevada this weekend.
Well, it was...
It was a beautiful morning on Friday.
It was done on a whim. I don't know if you've been reading lately, beer stuff.
Man, they will not shut up about this.
Well, because they're, they got some good press about how maybe the pendulum's swinging back to traditional and ritual, right?
Well, they certainly get every year there's press about celebration, and deservedly so. I cannot wait to go find some and have it for myself.
Right. And the argument is, on its merits, it is a beer that doesn't sell well most times of the year. It's a style that if you put out there, it wouldn't do very well, especially after
super malty, super hoppy.
Especially after the explosion of dry West Coast IPAs with very little malt backbone and all leaning into the hops. And especially when you would never use caramel malt in a hazy. I mean, I'd never say never, but generally speaking, when everyone is trying not to be the brew pub of the 80s and 90s, although I don't know, man, sounds like a pretty good model right now. If you stuck it out that long,
we'll talk about my trip, and I'll tell you the brew pub of the 80s and 90s because I was there today.
Yeah,
I mean this weekend.
So the argument is, it's its own thing. And yes, it would not survive, but you have to give them credit for decades of marketing and seasonality. It's one of those. It's not Oktoberfest. The season for it perhaps is longer.
Yeah.
It's not pumpkin beers. It's not that divisive of an issue. There are people who age it. I actually received some. I might even have a 10-year-old bottle. And it's not necessarily that
of celebration.
Yeah, it's not. Wow. It's not that it tastes better. People just like to see how it goes. There are people who do that.
Sure.
So there's a ritual there, and is that important? And I'm like, people who say no, the people are the same people, by the way, we talked about last week, who do the dollar per ounce per whatever. The people who trade and their whole social experience is trading online and not actually, or
enjoying or tasting,
having 10 bottles and going, yes, you may have some of that and you may have some of that. There's a control thing in there. That's their ritual. That's fine. I mean, anytime you hear me bagging on our culture or people in our culture, it's because I was that guy
at one time. That was me
for like 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, 10 minutes. I understand it. It's just not my thing, but it's as much a ritual as anything else.
I'm drinking Walter Station Hazing, Arizona today.
Oh, all right.
Very delicious. Very nice.
I'm drinking a Barrio Brewing blonde ale. I got to drink it.
All right.
Because I said I was going to drink it.
I've been
drinking it, but I'm not actually drinking it. I'm drinking it now.
And I want to get right back to your trip and your experience out in Asheville.
Yeah, so I've been reading about it, and it came up, and the options were to go on a several-day trip with you, and given what I have going on with my parents, I didn't want to make that commitment.
A several-day? Oh, you mean the trip down to southeastern? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. Although.
I was like, you were going to bring me to Asheville? Yes, I will take a several day. I don't have time for that shit.
It's a cost benefit thing. And the other one is to go to Chicago, which is closer. The flight's closer, but I've done that twice, and I always feel like I'm cheating myself by not spending 3 or 4 days there and really getting in a little deeper into Chicago, not going to, 3 or 4 of the same breweries I like to go to for one beer.
Pop in, pop out, back to Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I just did the Goose trip last year for their last day of service at the brew pub.
Right.
That was last year?
No, that was this year.
Oh. It was, yeah, okay. Well, it was, but I cheated myself the last 3 times I went to Chicago by not enjoying Chicago. So, on the same day as the Celly drippings, and it was never even considered until I just went through and just like, well, that's on this day, that's on this day. And I try to usually get a nice little quick trip out before Thanksgiving. Sometimes I do it before Christmas too. In the past, I would go to Milwaukee and drop off presents for people I knew in Milwaukee, just kind of that kind of thing. So the idea was hatched during the afternoon, and the official, not brother-in-law of Tom Allen, said, "Hey, I'm going to Tops. They have Sierra night tonight for celebration and some, narwhal and some other things." I'm like, "All right, I'll meet you there." So I told Brenda I was going there, and I said, "Hey, when we get there, I want to ask you about maybe if I could literally leave the bar and go to Asheville, enjoy the Celly drippings, which was on 3:00 on Friday, and come back this 8:00 at night." So that's kind of what I did.
Explain what Celly drippings is.
Yeah, so the celebration, they make I think they make all of it in Mills River.
It's fresh hop beer.
Yeah. Well, that's controversial.
Uh-oh. I stepped myself right in.
They're freshly picked, they're whole cones, but they are kilned, and the people from the Pacific Northwest will have issues with it being called that. But it's been called that for a long time, but not as long as the original batch. Somewhere around 2014, apparently, they put fresh hopped on the labels. But it has crystal malt in it, and I don't know. It's not Sierra Nevada Pale, and it's not an IPA. It's just kind of I don't know what it is stylistically. But when they make it, they transfer and they package it, and generally they're done. But there is such an enormous amount of dry hopping involved, and those hops are in bags. I don't know if it's different in Chico, but in Mills River they use bagged hops, massive, and the brew staff just lets those drain off, and it amounts to about 15 half barrels.
That's
of drippings.
That's a lot of quantity.
Right. Yeah. So there's the whole joke about Budweiser throws away more beer in a day
in a brew than the rest of all the small brewers combined make.
Literally. So they call it celebration drippings or Celly drippings, and they had never really talked about it. It would just happen. If you knew people at the brewery, you just went there that week, 2 weeks, and you would enjoy it. Well, they announced it. Actually, I think John Hall and a couple other people from All About Beer started to talk about it or found out about it. So I read about it last year, and this year they kind of made it an official time and place kind of thing. So I'm like, let's do that. And I didn't know what to expect. I had been to that brewery 5 or 6 years ago. Some breweries from the Southeast, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Alabama got together for a regional guild summit.
Gathering?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be fun to do?
At
Sierra Nevada.
Oh.
They gave him the space.
And this was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And went to a couple places, then spent more time. I just got there. John Hall was not going to be there, but he gave me the heads up that Don Say was going to be there, also from All About Beer. And a friend of his, another John, who lived locally. So I said, all right, well, I'll see if I can meet up with him. We didn't get to meet up until we got there, but I went to Burial Brewing Company. I tried to look up Twin Leaf, somebody I know from back from the Homebrew Talks days. I've run into him since the both times I've been there, or the first time I was there. I've never seen him there, and they're still recovering. He texted me, said, "Hey man, our hours are not what they seem."
Yeah,
they're down to a handful of employees and some volunteer work right now just to get that brewery up and running. They're still because they were without water for a long time, and although that building stands, there are other breweries where they were completely wiped out. So There were a lot of places that said they were open at noon and they weren't, or they weren't open at 3. And but Burial was open. I got to enjoy some beers there. I did end up finding one of the 2 Wicked Weeds that was open. Had a Brett Saison. It's really incredibly good.
Nice.
But I guess the Fermentarium, the other place that the place that was their kind of crown jewel, and we lost the camera. Let's just go with 2 today. It was closed, and I guess it was kind of didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, closed for the hurricane and then decided to never open it again.
Yeah, but there was a backstory with management not being informed of anything and blah, blah, blah. It just seems like the timing with the other ABI closures makes me pause, So I had time to do a couple of those things. Barrel, by the way, obviously they have pretty good beer. Everyone's like, where did you go? And when I mentioned Barrel, they're like, oh, cool. Like they mentally check that box and they, whatever. I went to Green Man too. It's one of the older breweries there.
I've heard of all of these.
Yeah.
So far.
Well, and I could have spent another full day checking all that out and actually enjoying some North Carolina barbecue, which there was a sandwich at Burial, which I thought was pretty good, but it wasn't, the whole deal, but it was cold, it was windy, but they have leaves and it was, it's kind of a sunny day. But I ended up just going back to Sierra Nevada, and because they had already set up this All About Beer thing, and they are trying to get some positive press out of it. Sierra Nevada sort of threw out the hospitality to everybody that was connected with Don and All About Beer. So shout out to them for letting me
getting
glom
that all
on.
set up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I the night before, as we were I made a hat that they were decorating Santa hats, and I made one that said Celly D for AZ on the brim. So I wore that, and they were like, "Oh, wow, you all the way from Arizona? I see your coat." And I said, "Wait, there's more." I didn't realize the night before. I was like, "I got to go back and see if I can find this shirt." I was part of Beer Camp 109, so I had my Beer Camp 109 work shirt.
Right, cool.
Yeah, which is gigantic on me. It's an extra large Dickies. It's
cool.
Yeah, so I wore that and talked to some of the folks at Sierra Nevada. Brian Grossman said hello. That was nice. But they had sliders that were made with the celebration. They had a whole menu. Sliders, different kinds of sliders.
What did they do
Chili.
with the celebration in the slider?
I don't know.
Made a sauce?
I have to look up. Yeah,
celebration mustard?
I'd have to look at
Great.
I took a picture of the menu. I'll have to take a look and see. Well, I guess I could do that. Well, I'll look at that while you're telling your story. They had chili. They had some dessert with celebration in it. And then I got to drink the celebration side by side with the Celly drippings, and you're all probably wondering what it's like. And it is definitely much more hopped up. I mean, it is brighter, snappier. The odd thing is the original celebration is darker in SRM than the drippings. And the drippings have 1/10 less point of alcohol. And I believe also less bittering units. So it's all just the dry hop pushing everything.
Yeah.
Up
That
there.
sounds great.
But you can taste the celebration tastes creamier, probably more enjoyable over the course of a day. I mean, I went overboard. I had almost exclusively Celly drippings.
As you could.
Yeah, because what else? But there's one thing that you should do if you are at either the two locations. You should always get their pale ale on draft, because it is actually differently formulated than the regular Sierra Nevada. So for what it's worth, that's always available.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. I think it has to do with the fact that traditionally they bottle condition pale. And I just think they took 2 different recipe things and they just maintained that. You know,
But you can keg condition it.
They just didn't do it.
Huh.
I'm guessing that maybe the yeast sediment in a keg is just something they want to deal with back in the 90s or whatever.
Yeah.
They just took 2 different pathways on that.
All right.
And they never joined them back up. So
I'll have to do that. I'll have to do a little test.
So they asked me if I wanted to take any home. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Because everyone's like, hey, bring me some. So they packed me some crawlers, which I didn't bring with me, but I will make sure you get today so you can have it for your holiday celebration.
Hooray!
And I said, well, I just brought the 1 bag. You know, I'm going to have to, can we go to the warehouse and get a box or something? They're like, oh no, we got you. So in addition to paying for my beers and dinner, they gave me a Sierra Nevada dry bag, like a river bag, you know, and they packed it all in there. And I said, well, I got to buy some stuff to pad it and just, you know, like whatever, because their gift store is, you know, incredible. So got a few things for Brenda.
Cool.
You know, a nice shirt, a sweater that maybe will be a gift to somebody else, a knit hat. But it all fit in there really nice. And so they sent me with, you know, a $60, $80 dry bag, and they gave me an employee discount. So like,
I did give some money to them, but
yeah, I mean, no, I don't know. I think it was, they do recognize the beer camp thing. So if you ever been part of a beer camp, they will roll out some of those discounts to you. So
I did Hop Harvest. Does that count?
I think it counts if you can just sort of sell yourself as
cool
as a fan, and you are.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah. So that will be part of my Thanksgiving. I will not be cooking with that.
No, please don't. Unless you have some dessert you're gonna make. I don't know. That could be good.
I don't
Celebration ice cream. Celly dripping ice cream.
No.
Come on.
No.
All right.
No. Maybe somewhere other year. Yeah. Maybe when we can figure out how to get you and Bonnie and me and Brenda, and you will bring your ice cream maker on the trip as you.
Sounds incredible.
Like as you are wont to do to somehow perform these culinary miracles on the road.
That's right. That's right. My car has a pizza oven in it right now.
Nice.
Does
it operate while you drive?
Not anymore. No. I unplugged it. No. I actually am going to be taking my pizza oven to Bonnie's company team get together for the holidays. That is next Saturday. But so I'm going to go make pizzas for their team. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
Don't rush. I know when you cook for a big group, it's especially pizza. You don't rush pizza, man.
Can't do it. No.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not great.
Can't rush pizza when you're making it from scratch. You cannot rush flash frying or deep frying.
Ice cream.
Ice cream, yeah. In the meanwhile, you sent me some photos and videos.
Oh, sure.
Tell me about your trip.
Yes, Friday, I planned out and we decided to go to, we planned this out a while ago to do a little tour of the Willcox Bisbee area. But on Friday, I went down to Tucson. Our first stop was at Barrio Brewing Company, drop off those tickets for Black Friday for Arizona Strong Beer Fest. They're selling the tickets for us and stopped there. Got to see Dennis.
Dennis Arnold.
Dennis Arnold. Hung out with Dennis for a little bit.
Had
some lunch. Listened to lots of stories.
Founder of Barrio.
And
his wife.
Gentle Ben's.
Yes.
That's the big one. We had a lot of Gentle Ben's talk.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I ran into him at Anthony's thing.
Yes.
And,
Then we went to Moto Sonora and got to chill with those folks for a little bit.
Right on.
Yeah, it was great. And then we headed down to Willcox where we checked into our beautiful casita. We had a reservation for dinner at 6 that we got there like 5:45. So
dinner at
Torito Farm, a beautiful restaurant. They were sold out as soon as we walked in. They're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have any spaces today."
Yeah,
like we have a reservation. They said, "Oh, great, cool." They were busy. Like everything was busy.
Huh.
It was weird because you drive up, there's no cars, you're the only one in the parking lot, and you say, this is going to be strange. And 30 minutes later, you walk out of your room to head over to dinner, and the parking lot's got 25 cars in it.
Really? So these are all local people, I would assume?
Lots of locals. There were...
people who were staying there?
The 6 camping domes
Yes.
were all booked.
Yeah.
They're booked out for a long time, apparently.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Yeah.
So we had a delicious dinner. I had a tuna steak.
Don't have that every day. Yeah.
Bonnie had short ribs.
Yeah.
Oh, so delicious. Really good.
Did you talk to anybody, meet anybody at any of the domes or any
We
of
did.
the residents? Were they all Instagram influencers? Were they all just snappy?
No, not at all. Definitely not that crowd.
Yeah.
The people from the dome that we met were on our farm tour on Sunday morning.
Uh-huh.
And they're from Phoenix and just came down to hang out.
How
for
did
the
they
weekend.
find out about it?
Don't know.
You don't know? Were they beer people or were they just not beer people?
I believe they were more farm dairy people than they were beer people.
Okay.
Yes. Very into the farms. They have chickens themselves. They want to get a goat. Grow all kinds of food. They're teaching me so much about gardening.
Ah, and they're from Phoenix.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can do some things here. You just have to understand when to start. It's not when everybody thinks you should start.
No, trust me. I've been trying to figure out gardening, and man, you read any books, and it's such a waste.
Yeah,
it's like feels like a total waste of time.
I just like search KJZZ. They have someone on that comes on maybe quarterly and tells you when you should start doing stuff. But maybe listen to some of those episodes.
I do have Arizona books, but I think that the shift in the weather from when the books are published to now is significant.
Oh, yeah.
There is a YouTube channel that is a lady in Mesa who gardens like crazy, but sometimes you just get this disconnect of, vocabulary.
Right.
And then you see what they've got, and you're like, I'm just trying to put like 4 tomato plants in the garden, man.
Yeah.
In containers.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily speak to you in that way, but if you listen, you can definitely get some stuff.
There is scale, because if this might be the same person, because they talk about creating shade and using other plants, kind of like the way the natives use corn and beans and
the 3 sisters.
Yeah, what's the third one? I don't remember. Corn, beans, and
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well. Then we went the next day, left at about 10 a.m. to drive down, 9:30, to drive down to Sierra Vista.
Oh, I have not been to that.
It is quite a ways to
I've been there, but I have not been to where I think you're going to tell me.
To Tombstone, yeah. It's quite a ways to drive from Willcox to, anywhere. So it was an hour and a half drive. We got to Tombstone.
Squash is the third sister.
Ah, yes. Nice. So we got to Tombstone, and what a beautiful place. They had a private party in the brewery area itself. But the restaurant is pretty dang big. And the bar was nice. And they had deviled eggs available as an appetizer.
Yeah.
When do you see deviled eggs on a menu?
Only at Dark Sky.
Yeah?
I've seen them, yeah.
Man, they are our regular favorite for a holiday to make at home, but to see them on the menu
let me do
great.
this. Deviled eggs in this economy?
In this economy? Oh, yeah. Eggs are short again, everyone. So get your eggs now because you're not going to be able to buy them tomorrow.
This is going to be on Thanksgiving Day, I don't think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you won't be able to buy them that day either.
Okay.
Even though grocery stores might be open. I don't know, whatever. So we went down there. And I was what did I have to drink there? Oh, we had the rye IPA. They had the single, the double, and the triple version of the rye IPA. 10%, 8.5, and 5.7,
And
maybe 6.
that refers to the IPA, not necessarily triple the rye or triple the
Yeah.
double
So
the rye.
do you think they did make the triple and then add to reduce and have the 3 different variations? I don't know. Because that's where my brain went.
There's the party guile method, where you make the strong beer and you blend down.
Yeah. Could be.
No, I don't think so.
I think that'd be amazing if they did.
I've done it as a home brewer once.
Yeah.
Me and David Scholmeyer, but I don't
cool.
know that anyone does it commercially no. That used to be how the English styles were made by some brewers, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
You
Well, we picked up stakes and headed out of Sierra Vista on our way to Bisbee,
Right on.
bustling metropolis of Bisbee. We came in on a different road from the one we usually do.
Yeah. There are some beautiful drives.
Yeah.
And that sort of hilly country.
Just the whole thing is just gorgeous. Just driving all over the place, and you get some twisty roads up
Right.
through mountains, and then sometimes you're going up to these very high, views
Right.
of the entire area, and then you go way back down, then you come way back up again, and you look from a different direction, and it's gorgeous. And we pulled over several times just to look.
Southern Arizona is deceptively elevated.
Yeah.
It doesn't get because you don't get that immediate lift as you go to northern Arizona.
Willcox is at 4,500 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty high up there.
Yeah.
No one would think that of southern Arizona.
No.
Here we are.
Yeah. Now, can you imagine if Cottonwood was at 4,500? Be a cooler state. Anyway.
Our first stop in Bisbee was at Ballpark Brewing. I got to check the name. I just don't want to mess up. The owners were not there. However, the head brewer was. His name is, Caleb. He brewed at several places in California. Moved out here to do construction. He's a woodworker, carpenter, very proud of his woodworking skills. And was working on a property right across the street while they're building out Ballpark. Just came over and said, "Do you guys need a brewer?" And they said, "Yes, we do very much. Thank you." And he decided he's going to stay in Bisbee for the foreseeable future.
Right on.
He's got his carpentry woodworking business going during the week and comes over and helps. The owners do a lot of the cellar work and cleaning, and he comes over and does some brewing and finishing. And yeah, it's a great system. Caleb's a super friendly guy. We didn't eat there, but they have a kitchen. They've got maybe 40 seats in the restaurant. Really no outside patio to speak of. The two brothers who own it were both high school football coaches, so there's a lot of football memorabilia around.
That doesn't make sense.
What?
Why would they not call it football stadium instead of ballpark?
Well, there's a reason that it's ballpark.
Okay.
There's a Bisbee, I believe, if I remember from the last time I was in Bisbee in 2020, the first either semi-pro or professional in the 1800s baseball team west of the Mississippi was in Bisbee.
Yeah, that stadium still exists, I think.
I know the land is still there.
Yeah. Well, they didn't remove the land.
They didn't remove the land.
They might have
mined the shit.
They
out
might
of it.
have illegally broadcast and represented Major League Baseball, and Major League Baseball might have just erased them from the memory of time and space.
Anymore.
Yeah.
But it's in Wallace is the name of the town, and it's just right outside Bisbee. Like you wouldn't know, except there are some signs that say Wallace, and that's where the ballpark is, and that's where the historic ballpark was, and that's where the brewery is, and that's what they're doing.
Got you. Is this the quintessential brew pub that you were talking about?
It is. They had 4 beers on. They had a blonde. They had a stout.
You mean Lowell? No, not Wallace.
I don't think it was Lowell. No.
Lowell's the town that has nothing in it. It's just all like.
I don't know, man.
Okay, sorry.
I had a red IPA. And when Bonnie tasted it, she was so happy. She's like, oh my gosh, the maltiness in that is so nice.
Yeah.
So talking about those crystal malts and things like that,
Right.
really good. And they had a seltzer. So that's not traditional brew pub.
Right.
But a stout, a blonde, and a red IPA. I mean, that's pretty like right there for 90s brewery.
Yeah, I mean, you got that sort of red IPA idea at Lumberyard.
Sure.
ESB and then their red ale. But there was a hot moment in California history where the red IPA
Oh, yeah.
was a thing.
It's fire, like 2012.
Yeah.
I'm getting a beer. Do you need a beer?
I don't think so. But while you're, I mean, sure. Another one of what I'm having right now, which is a Barrio Blonde. While you're getting that, I would like to relate the Sierra Nevada menu, celebration style menu. They had bison chili, Carolina bison, roasted red peppers, black beans, lime crema, smoked cheddar, chives, jalapeno cheddar, sourdough. There's IPA in it because it says Celebration IPA. Celebration slider trio. There was a brine turkey breast, cranberry, and citrus sauce. Au jus on a yeast roll. That was for Celebration IPA brine. Celly drippings, glazed ham. This was the second slider. Dry hop with cherry jam, pineapple slaw on a Hawaiian roll, and then the Celebration IPA roast beef, onion jam, Munster cheese, with house white bread. The dessert was a pudding, a toffee pudding, in the cake form. You know, not the
bread pudding.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, more like the figgy puddings that we're talking about, the English style puddings, not the Bill Cosby pudding.
Not Jello brand.
Jello pudding.
Jello brand pudding
Celebration IPA infused cranberries, toffee sauce with a Parmesan crisp, which I do recall being, I got to make sure I get Parmesan crisps equally distributed amongst all the slices of the little pudding cake I had. Yeah, it was good.
Wow.
So they do food well at both of the Sierra Nevadas.
And no one would argue that for sure.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good.
We'll bring us back to Bisbee, a place that I need to get to because you've now mentioned 2 locations that I have not been to. I think last week you've mentioned 2 or 3 places I have not been to. What the hell am I doing here?
You're working on other parts of your life right now.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay. Yeah. So we departed from our friends at Ballpark and cannot wait to get back there again. Went to Old Bisbee Brewing Company. We've been there before.
Yeah.
When I was there, it was in June of 2020. I'm not sure if your brain can go to that particular historic point in history.
There was a lot of mask wearing then.
But I'm very glad that we went back again because this time it was a celebratory place to walk in. As soon as we walked in, people were just at the bar. The bartender and the manager were laughing and talking to people at the bar. We went up. We got our beers, went upstairs to the patio. Yeah. Again, there's just like this energy there that is so fun and so positive. And it was strikingly different from the last time we were there, but that's not their fault.
Yeah, that bar is usually populated by locals and the bartender, and it's like you walk in and you're immediately there. So like you've been to places where that can be an abrasive
thing. For sure.
So they have to go out of their way, and a good bartender will get your regulars to banter in there and welcome people.
Yeah.
And that is the thing I noticed in Madison when we were going around. Because people will be like, this is so weird. Everyone's so friendly. I'm like, it's just the nature of the building makes you either be really snooty and terrible.
Yeah. When you walk in,
or very friendly and hospitable.
Well, when you walk into Old Bisbee Brewing Company, you come up a narrow stairway, you go in through a narrow doorway.
Right.
There's a very narrow move to go between whatever the hell's over there. Like there's some display of merch, but then also the bar right here. And you have 3 feet to get through. Yeah. You are going to bump into someone no matter how hard you try not to.
Right.
And it is the same way going up onto the patio. It's the same way going out to the other side of the bar. You're just going to see people and they're going to see you. And naturally there's going to be an interaction. You cannot hide. Yeah. And I had on a Guild shirt or hat or something where someone recognized it. Yeah. And then everyone started talking about it. So yeah, it was really cool. Really cool. And gosh, what did I get there? Well, they did force a sticker into my hand. I was like, I have one. And they're like, we'll take this. And I was like, I think I already have one. And they said, well, you need this one. And I said, okay, thank you. I think I got a piece of merch, but I don't know what it was. But that was great. Mm-hmm. And then we headed over to Electric Brewing, which is another place I had not been. And I did not realize this was the original Dave's Electric.
Yes.
What?
Yeah. It is.
Joe and Natalie were there. And Victor? No. Vincent. Yeah. They were all there, along with some other people, and there was a lot of revelry going on, and there was a very cute dog, and they have a brewery cat who came and sat next to us at the bar, and a little sweetie pie.
They are a very music-centered place in terms of like they're very concerned about their playlists, and they have karaoke. I don't know if they had that going on that night. They have some local acts.
We were, this was still, let's go with like 2 in the afternoon.
Okay, off hours for that. Yeah.
Natalie and I got to share our joy of making Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
I believe she said she has 97 playlists right now.
Yeah.
All for different occasions, different vibes.
Yeah, and on the social media, every once in a while, they'll put a request out for ideas around a theme, and I'm like, every once in a while, I'll weigh in. Yeah. Cool.
Well, it was really so crazy being there. And they make kombucha, which I'm a big fan of kombucha.
Right.
So I brought home a growler of kombucha that's still in the fridge.
Yep.
I brought home an Imperial Stout. Their son makes the label drawings.
Yep.
They're all hand-drawn labels. They look really cool. Sticker. Bonnie got a sticker for her.
So this is the second place that has kombucha that doesn't necessarily put that forward in any kind of marketing or advertising. So the one that I know of is that brewery in Pint, and now Bisbee, Electric Brewing.
And Desert Monk, when they first opened, one of their bartenders had a passion for kombucha, and they also...
That's funny because that's the way that was driven. It was by the bartender, not necessarily the brew staff. And but they lent support, and it is completely at the whim of the bartender when they're going to make some more. So it's kind of low key that way. So those are the 2 places. Maybe there's more. I don't know.
Those are the 2 that have it now. Desert Monk does not now, but cool. So then we went down to a place where you and I have gone before. Weedy took us to Gay 90s in Naco. On the American side of the U.S.-Mexico border, I could have thrown a rock into Mexico from there. I mean, it would have hit the wall, but that's where it is.
Yeah.
And
it's just down a long hill. I don't know, maybe 7-8 minutes from Bisbee.
10 miles tops from Electric Bruco.
Yeah. Yeah.
My wife has going to Mexico anxiety.
But you were there.
We had one bad experience in the past, which was just like, let's just pop over into Mexico.
Right.
And that didn't work out well. But our trip, that was great. She did not have the desire to pop over again.
Right.
I was like, let's just go over, have a taco, and come back. And she's like, I've heard this from you before. How about you shut up? So we went to Gay 90. It was great. It's a dive bar. Again, now we're like, 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a random beer. I don't know what it was. And Bonnie probably had a PBR or a Miller Lite or something.
Right.
And, oh, no, I bet she had a mixed drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they have a Reagan-inspired drink, but it's, I think, I don't remember what it is.
Ronald Reagan?
Yes.
Oh.
Ronald Reagan visited. You didn't see his photos on the wall?
I did not.
Okay. Well,
there was a lot going on.
Yeah, I know.
There were 2 other people at the bar, and they were very engaging.
Yeah.
So
Ronald Reagan didn't come up.
There wasn't a lot of roaming
They're
around.
They're probably really
looking.
tired of telling everyone about Ronald Reagan at this point.
The bartender was super nice. She was on point with her shit. The bathrooms were clean and smelled good, apparently, is what Bonnie said. She was very impressed with the place as a dive bar go.
Right.
It was on the top end.
Well, you let her know that Ronald Reagan haunted that place.
She will be impressed as all get out.
But I want to say, just like if I recall, it was not what you think of the places that Hemingway has been and all Hemingway bars, but he preferred a very, I don't know, for the time, a girlish drink. I mean, daiquiri.
Yeah.
For the
fruities.
For 50s.
Mai Tais.
1950s.
Sure.
You would think it would be like just, rum with a whiskey back or something like that. Like in a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, you ready? It's, I guess. And who knows if they're historically accurate, but just way too sweet. I think even sweet for like a 50s sensibility. I think we're really over the top with sweetness as a.
I hope they don't they didn't make daiquiris like they do now, because now it just comes out of a bag and it says daiquiri mix, add rum.
Right.
Ew.
Yeah. And
gross.
They're not adding enough rum because
it's expensive.
Yeah.
And people love sugar. So we headed back to Willcox from there.
Back to Willcox. Wow.
Well, that's where we were sleeping.
Yeah.
So that's where all our stuff was.
Right. Yeah. That's quite a side
But now
trip.
I'm thinking, where did we have dinner? Oh, yeah. I have Google Timeline.
That's quite a side trip.
What? Over to Bisbee?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an hour and a half drive.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half to Sierra Vista. It's an hour and a half to Bisbee.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't the most convenient place to stay, but it was the best place to stay. I'm going to say it right now.
So you spent 2 nights in? Yeah.
At Torito Farm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I would have done Bisbee Willcox or Willcox Bisbee.
Sure, you could have done Willcox and then stayed in Bisbee, but I don't know, man.
No, I'm just not 2 nights in one spot.
Understood. Totally.
Would have been. That
would have been 3 fewer hours of driving on that day.
Yeah.
I know. It's all right. We had a great time.
No, I'm glad you did it.
Where
did you get to explore downtown Willcox at all? And they did this. Did you go to the Rex Allen Museum?
No, we did so then we went back.
There's supposed to be a quality dive bar or 2 in Willcox too, but I couldn't tell you what they are.
We went to.
You'd have to ask Andrew, the brewer. He lives obviously he lives there.
I mean, that's not obvious because most of their employees live in Benson.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he does live in Benson.
Oh. Well, we got back at some point we ate, but I don't know when that was. I'm trying to look real quick.
Sure.
Okay. I'm looking. Driving, Tombstone, Ballpark, Electric, A90s, driving. Old Bisbee. Staying Mall. No, yeah, don't know. Anyways.
I had a big bag of Cheez-Its on my flight.
Nice.
$5 carried me through a lot of pain and suffering, and
yeah,
because I got there at a weird time. If as long as we're sharing about what we ate,
we also stopped at a nice little place because I said I'm looking forward to reading my book, and Bonnie said I don't have a book, so we could relax in the evening with the sunset.
Yeah, but what
and
book
the
is
farm. This? My book?
Yeah, what book are you reading?
Why do you have to bring that up?
What? Because you say you're reading a book, and I would naturally want to know what book that is.
The point was that Bonnie didn't have a book, so we stopped at a free lending book place that someone recommended to us, and it was an igloo cooler that had books laid in it, and it said library right in front of a school. It was so cute, and I want to send them books.
Yeah.
My book just came out on November 12th.
Not a book you've written, but a book you're reading.
Correct.
November 12th.
Yeah, so recent. I had lunch with my parents last Sunday.
And someone wrote a book about it.
And my dad presented me with a book, and it's called Heartbreak is the National Anthem, How Taylor Swift Changed Pop Music.
That's not the direction I thought it was going to go. I always thought this was going to be a baseball book.
Of course.
Heartbreak is the national anthem.
Yeah.
How Major League Baseball erased an entire location off the face of the earth for illegally broadcasting or, no. Okay. All right.
One thing that shocked me was
about the content of the book?
No, the book cover indicated it was $27.99.
Yeah.
It is a short book.
Yeah.
I finished it in 2 days.
Okay. Is it big type or something? Or
very big type.
It's like your dad bought it like at the big type version.
Anyways, it is not necessarily a piece of literature. The author has written books about the Beatles. He writes for Rolling Stone. Like, he's been around, but he is obviously a fanboy of Taylor Swift from way, 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 way back. Which is, it's a fun, lighthearted read, but certainly not something that you're...
Right.
Some funny things.
What was Bonnie's book?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't think she read it. She might have picked one up, but she didn't read it. Then, on Sunday morning, checkout time was 11.
Yes.
The restaurant and gift shop don't open until 11:30.
That needs to be changed.
It's a little something.
Yeah.
Well, what we did was we left at 10:30 and headed over to a nice restaurant called Olive. Mm-hmm. They're a vineyard. They do not do wine samplings because if you have a tasting room, they have food and they're selling wine to go. It doesn't all work together.
Yeah, someone should fix that.
So
legislatively,
it was great. The food was absolutely wonderful. We got a whole bunch of Christmas presents for people. It's a lavender farm and an olive farm,
right? And
a winery. Mm-hmm. I mean, a vineyard. So all those things together equal some great stuff.
So they're a vineyard, but they don't make the wine there,
right?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes,
as to why they don't have sampling.
They're a vineyard, but not a winery.
Right.
Yes.
Got it.
And they sell other people's wine, and they're mostly a little cute little restaurant. So great. And then we went to Pillsbury Wine Company.
Yes.
Which was close.
Yes.
Sam was not there. He was on the way down from Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
So we missed him. But we had
he could be in one of three places then. He could be at the Pillsbury Oak Creek, the northern.
Did you know he's a filmmaker?
No, I know he writes
32 movies that he was directed or produced.
Did not know this.
True fact.
I know he's got a really cool motorcycle.
Oh, like a cafe I didn't even racer. Get that.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, he's 78 years old.
Yeah.
I drank some wine. Bonnie drank some wine. We brought a couple bottles of wine.
Nice.
Then we went back to Torito Farm for a 1:00 p.m. farm tour.
All right. did you learn anything about farms that you did not know, or was there anything specific about farming in Arizona that was different from any other experience you've had?
A very interesting thing that we got to see was the milking machine. Now, they weren't milking cows, but they have a pit where they go down to put the milking equipment onto the udders. The cows come in 5 at a time. They have 5 things. They get them going. It goes directly into the raw milk tank, and once the raw milk tank's full, it sends it over to the pasteurizing machine, which looks like basically a heat exchanger.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the finished milk tank, and they bottle it right there.
Wow.
Boom. All right there within like 30 feet from where the cow stands to where they're putting it into a bottle.
So is it
and that's very unique in the industry. Usually it goes raw into a tank that goes to a production facility where it all gets pasteurized.
Yeah, those are co-ops. That's the United Dairymen. That's their whole...
Well, theirs get done right away, right there. Boom, have it.
Right. Huh. Is there does the Dairyman Mafia get after him about that?
Apparently not. Maybe they just fly under the radar.
I'm just making that up.
I think they fly under the radar.
I have some great friends over at the Dairymen's Association.
Are they in the
They're very supportive of our industry. Vis-a-vis
it's true.
spent grain, but also because they recognize our small business Arizona struggle.
If you are a brewery and you need lactose, buy it from the United Dairymen of Arizona.
Yeah, 100%.
Or else.
No.
They are available all the time. Their prices are very reasonable, and they'll definitely give you high fives.
At the Street of Farms, is there like a start to finish? Like you're watching a tour and you can literally have Bessie's milk pasteurized and bottled.
That would be neat, but they usually do milking at 4 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Okay.
However, because it gets so cold, it's now 5 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Yeah.
So they changed their time just recently.
Okay.
Due to the weather.
I was just wondering if it was like when you go to Jack Black's studio in Nashville and you can see the concert and then you wait and they they cut records while you
the
wait
vinyl for you.
For the show. Yeah.
So nice. No, not that. Then we got to go, I didn't really do so much petting of the cows and the sheep and the horses. Like, I've ridden horses and had done goat yoga.
Right.
And, no sheep, just goats, no sheep. And I've seen a cow before, so. Yeah. But they had little baby cows. They had a baby cow that was born Wednesday.
Ah.
Then they had cows that were born last week, and they had cows that were 2 or 3 months old. You got to see all the cows, and it was so amazing. A cow born on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That was so crazy. It was about the size of, like, your dog.
Wow.
Maybe a little bigger.
Yeah. Huh.
So that was fun. You got to feed them and play with them, and yeah. And there was a little...
So there's probably like 4 or 5 more cows since the last time you were there.
There are 4 more mamas that are there waiting to have their cows. Yeah, have their babies. It's true. They make their own cheese. Obviously, they bottle their own milk for you to take home. So we have Torito Farm milk for Thanksgiving.
Did you? It being the weekend, you didn't run into the people that we know from the brewery and
did not.
Yeah.
Did not.
Did you get the sense that there's obviously a whole nother team that runs the farm, right? I don't know how long they've been there. Like they were a farm first.
2016
is
when they were established, and they were a farm first, yes.
Yeah.
And then they got that going. They got their grapes going. They have a full orchard with pears, apricots, apples. They've got their olive trees. They've got a paintball range, mostly in summer.
Right.
People come out and do paintball parties. So they have 80 acres, and they just bought another 80 acres with it. They're still yet to develop.
Right.
When they free range their cattle, the mamas might have a baby, but the mama will then hide the baby.
I just got a text. I'm using the glasses that Andrew
nice.
is.
Nice.
See?
Yes.
I'll just
I
record
love the
this.
glasses.
Yeah.
So they'll free range them, and the mamas will have the baby and hide them. And then when the guys are out there looking for the mama and the baby,
Right.
they'll walk the other way from where the baby is to draw them away from the baby to
Right.
protect the baby,
Right.
which is just wild. So you got to get your drone up there, man. But they don't let the mamas walk around and free range that much when it's time.
Okay. They should teach the cows to use paintballs.
Yeah.
If they're good at hiding the
Brah, brah.
if they're good at hiding the calves, they
They
set up
are-
ambushes with the paintball, you know?
They have put several more acres of grapes in the ground this year.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting something else. But anyways, it was a very awesome tour. And then we had lunch, and then we headed home.
And the drive back is about 3.5 hours, 4 hours?
It is 3 hours from Torito Farm to Chandler.
Chandler, yeah.
We stopped at Button to say hi to Erica Button.
Right on.
Had some little mini beers. Got a 4-pack to go. Shared joy and happiness with everyone in the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the Seahawks, did they win?
They did.
So the Seahawks won, and that's Todd Button's
yeah.
favorite team. So he was excited, but he wasn't there. He was on the way over, and we're like, we got to go. But they beat the Cardinals, and that's something we're sad about, right?
That is because they were doing well this year, and
Have been doing well. That
it's a
doesn't mean
terrible interception, like the most ridiculous interception.
what a shame.
Yeah, like that was. The
I heard
beginning
that
of
the Cowboys and whoever they were playing, the last 4 minutes of that game was bonkers.
Yeah, I saw Sereni's post. He's Mark Sereni's the what is he?
He's the general counsel for the Brewers Association.
Yeah, he was at the game. I was gonna go. You could probably watch a 5-minute video on that whole epic turn of events.
4 minutes of craziness is what I read.
Yeah, yeah.
Bonnie, being a Cowboys fan,
yeah,
when I told her that was happening, she was like, "Oh, okay."
it's tough to be a Cowboys fan this year, a Bears fan. Yeah.
It's an emotional roller coaster if you're a Cardinals fan.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing great. You're doing great. Oh, my God. Oh, I don't know.
Hey, so
Hey.
we should probably wrap this up.
That's a great idea. We've rambled enough.
Yeah,
I got to go.
yeah.
I've been here since 6 a.m.
Okay, I have not. Do you have any
Final thoughts?
Yeah,
Any
yeah,
upcoming
because
excitement?
because
Arizona Pint Day. Let me tell you a little secret.
yeah,
I got the demo print cup. When I got home from my trip,
yeah.
there was a box from Belter Glassware sitting on my table.
They know where you live.
And I told him. And I opened it, and the glass was in there.
Yeah,
And it's freaking amazing. And I'm so excited.
you gotta send me a photo.
Well, I can bring it in. You might be able to touch it.
Well, no, I mean
I just forgot
for-
since I left my house at 4:45 this morning.
Yeah, no. Send me a picture.
I forget things.
I can touch it later. I can get my own. I can touch my own.
All right.
I'll get 2.
Oh, gross.
I have 2
Let's
hands.
just
I can
not even
touch
talk
2.
about that anymore. We did buy 3 cases for the guild, so
Oh, okay.
options are there for you.
So that's going to be available.
December 20th is Arizona Pint Day.
Okay.
December 10th is the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild annual meeting.
Yes.
And backing it up a little bit, to this Friday is Black Friday, Arizona Strong Beer Fest ticket sales. We have 5 breweries participating, Lumberyard Brewing in Flagstaff. I'm just going north to south.
Yeah.
Front Porch Brewing in Phoenix, like north of the Deer Valley Airport. Simple Machine, which is right at the south gate of the Deer Valley Airpark. Walter Station in downtown Phoenix. And, well, close to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And Barrio Brewing Company in Tucson. Get your tickets there. No fees when you buy the tickets at the breweries.
Yeah.
And early bird pricing. Early bird pricing goes through Cyber Monday. After that, ticket prices go up. So now is a good time. and get tickets, get presents for your friends,
Yeah.
as one would say.
Yeah. This year is all about getting together with people and doing rituals. And this is a ritual.
Doing rituals, yes.
Like
And we have a new
participating in the
ritual
culture.
of the Arizona Pint Day.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Very cool. I'm excited about that. I hope that everybody gets to do and have what they want this year as we go into Christmas and the holiday season. And if you didn't get what you wanted,
There's always next year.
No, I mean, this is the time to. In the past, we've had an abundance of items like this, and I think this is the year. Like you don't want to be if you're on the wrong side of not getting what you wanted from these festivals and glassware and things that we're doing. Then yeah, you got a plan, man. Seize it now.
December 20th, Arizona Pint Day. We've got over 20 breweries signed up to have glassware, ranging from 2 to 10 cases per brewery.
Yeah.
So some breweries are going to run out before noon, and others will have them for a couple days.
Right on. Okay. If I don't see you until before Thanksgiving, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
And you can wish me a happy birthday on that day, too.
Happy Thanksgiving birthday, Rob.
Thank you.
It's so neat.
Happens every once in a while, and I get a bunch of days off, but I'm doing what I want, cooking for my family, and watching football and not caring about anything, and just being a host.
Oh, God. We're having Thanksgiving at my son's place in Flagstaff, and he's probably going to turn football on.
All right.
I'll get through it.
This is not a football podcast.
This is not a podcast about beer.
It's not a beer podcast. It's a podcast about beer. All right.
Bye.